The SH MonsterArts Godzilla 2000 figure is finally here, and while it's only been a few months since it was initially revealed, there are some customers that have been waiting well over 10 years for a release like this. This isn't the first time that we've seen Godzilla 2000 in the line, but it is the first time that we're seeing something that more closely resembles what was depicted in the movie versus the initial Sakai concept version that was released a long time ago. This figure is based off of the suit that was used in the movie Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, which came out in 2000, this being Godzilla 2000, and with many folks claiming that this might be the Godzilla action figure of the year, let's jump into it. Godzilla 2000 is going to stand right around the 6 inches tall mark, and with his tail fully extended, you're looking at about 12 to 13 inches long, roughly. Those of you that have been watching my channel for a while know that I am not a regular customer of SH MonsterArts, and while I've had my consistent issues with them, among those issues has never really been the sculpted detail included in these figures. Godzilla 2000 here is sharp, and I'm not just talking about his dorsal plates. All over this figure, you're going to see some intricate skin detail. The grooves and folds that have been hand etched into this figure really stand out against the 3D sculpting techniques that I can very obviously see in the last few Haya Godzilla figures that I've got. While the figure is not one-to-one identical with the suit that was used in the movie, the overall silhouette is so close that it's not at all a deal breaker for me. I absolutely love how these spines look in terms of their sculpt, but also the purple coloration. Godzilla's teeth, claws, and toenails are all painted in this bone-like color, and while the black wash is a little bit heavy-handed in instances, it doesn't bother me all that much. Now, one of the points that's been raised around this figure is the fact that it was sculpted by Yuji Sakai rather than Shinichi Wakasa, Wakasa being the person that created the Gira Goji suit used for the movie. And while I understand being upset that Wakasa didn't sculpt this figure when he has sculpted other figures in the line, considering the fact that Yuji Sakai kicked off the SH MonsterArts line all that time ago, to complain that this figure was sculpted by Yuji Sakai, it just feels kind of like going into an Italian restaurant and being like, hey, why are they making all this shit Italian? But hey, at least there seems to be a very, very movie accurate figure coming down the pipeline from another company at some point, which looks to be a great option if you really wanted that Wakasa sculpt. Now we'll get into the articulation of the figure, and for the most part, I'm going to let the footage speak for itself. Notably, Godzilla 2000 features a new set of extendable joints throughout the body in the neck, the arms, the hips, as well as the torso. Here you can see we're playing around with the neck. Now the neck joint you want to extend if you need to get additional range of motion. If you're going to have him in a more static pose, there's absolutely no reason to extend the neck, and I think that even doing that looks silly. I'm not going to fault that against the figure itself, of course. I'm going to fault that against the person who has the neck extended while he's in a stationary pose. The dorsal plate on the back of the neck does move a little bit. I don't really get enough movement out of it to be particularly useful or make it look all that different. So, it's there for those who want it. When you get into the shoulders, they almost behave like butterfly joints that you might see in something like a Marvel Legends or a more traditional American action figure. We'll take a closer look at it in a bit, but it's a really nice added quality of life change. When it comes to the waist, or rather the connection between the torso and the pelvis, there is an extending joint in there. Practically speaking, there's only a handful of perspectives or point of views that you're going to be able to take photographs of this guy in that doesn't make that joint look a little bit wonky. But again, if you want it, it's there. Similar to the shoulders, the hips connect in on a very similar type of butterfly joint. They're a little bit different in their engineering that I'll show you in just a few minutes. They still grant that same effect of being able to swivel out a lot more than previous figures that I've seen. And as Michael from the Articulation series has pointed out, there's a lot more inner shell happening in the figure to block some of those gaps that you might have when you extend those thighs outward. And I'm sure you've already seen this by now, but if you haven't, the tail on this thing is absolutely crazy. While I don't know if it's quite at the level of the Haya 91, it is by far the most articulated MonsterArts tail I have ever seen. Seriously, of all the Godzilla suits to include this much articulation, Godzilla 2000 is not the one that I expected to see it in. Now let's take a closer look at these joints inside the shoulder and the legs. You can see that in the shoulders, the joints no longer plug in at, let's say, a 90-degree angle from the front of the chest. The ports actually sit in at the back of the chest plate, allowing you to swivel the arms in and out. The thighs are a completely different system of joints, including several ball joints and then a swivel in the actual body. And this is what allows so much of the legs to swivel in and out. I cannot explain to you how much I regret taking out the arm and the leg in order to show you these joint systems. It took me a solid half an hour to figure out how to get these things back in, mostly because the joints are so buttery smooth that they're actually not tense enough for me to apply enough pressure directly to get the joints back into place. So that's what the image at the beginning of this video is me just struggling to actually get the joints back in. But I do it for you, I do it for the viewer. Overall, the amount of articulation in Godzilla 2000 is extremely impressive. It's a huge step up from what has come before in the SH MonsterArts line, and you can get him into all kinds of fun poses and have him showing off a lot of personality. In terms of accessories, Godzilla 2000 comes with nothing, but if you want to recreate the scene of him eating debris from Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, do consider checking out the new KaijuCanuck project from Titanic Creations. I'll add a link in the description. They're currently in their crowdfunding period, and if you're looking for a cost-effective set of destructible buildings to include on your kaiju shelves, go ahead and check out the KaijuCanuck project below. Let's round it out by including a size comparison with a Haya Exquisite Basic Toho figure, as well as a Toho Ultimate figure from Super 7. Now the question remains, is Godzilla 2000 figure of the year material? And I gotta tell you, it's definitely gonna be up there. I'll be doing my top 10 figures of the year list a little bit later on in the channel, so I'll save a lot of those thoughts regarding this figure, who you're definitely gonna see in that video, for that video. Overall, if you were really excited for this figure, if you thought that it looked cool, I think that it's going to deliver everything that you were hoping for and more. If you're waiting for the more cost-effective option in the Haya Exquisite Basic Godzilla 99 figure, I'm not sure that this thing is going to do anything to persuade you otherwise, but this is definitely a situation where I feel like the $130 price point, at least in the US market, is a well-worthy price to pay. So those are my thoughts on SH MonsterArts Godzilla 2000, but I am curious to hear from you. What do you think of this figure? Do you think it's cool? Are you going to wait for a different alternative? Maybe you're skipping Millennium altogether? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye!